No one have to live the way we have lived.
Y es triste ver a la gente no viviendo en esas condiciones cuando supuestamente estamos en el país más rico del mundo.
The time has come for a movement that's about the city, but is also bigger than the city, because this is bigger than the city. This is a global crisis.
People have been thrust into poverty who never was in poverty before.
It's on the forefront, what everybody's going through nationwide.
We're all different, but we're all fighting for to end poverty on different levels in different ways. Stay strong and you can win.
On December 31st, the cap on energy prices will expire throughout the state of Pennsylvania. PECO has requested a 5% increase in rates to go into effect January 1st. Thus far, there has been very little coverage of the reasons for and the possible effects of the removal of rate caps. The media coverage of this issue has largely consisted of consumer reports detailing ways to cut down on energy usage without recognizing the fact that people have already been struggling to pay their utility bills before this new increase in rates. Especially now as unemployment continues to rise, home foreclosures increase, and healthcare costs become more unaffordable, this increase in the price of utilities is putting pressure on everybody's already strained budgets. We decided to speak with PECO customers about the price of utilities and what they know about the rate hikes.
Well, really, we don't know anything yet because I've been coming down here since August trying to get some information, and they said they put me on a list. I haven't received anything in the mail. I haven't received any emails about it. So I'm having a meeting this evening at my house for the homeowners. I'm doing the homeowners. And to let them know if they want to, we all go together. If not, I will represent to find out more, because everybody's getting shut off notices for even $139. And for them not to get the information out soon enough, that's not a good sign.
It doesn't feel good to know that I can't really afford to pay my bills, but come on, who can? I live by myself, so I'm not really so much worried about kids or anything, you know what I'm saying? But I feel for people who are worried about their children and situations going on with other bills and stuff like that. I'm really worried about that.
Their rates are extremely high. The gas works are extremely high. You don't get what you deserve for your money. And the customer service stinks. It's not fair. It's not fair. They're the only ones making the money, them in the city. The people are suffering.
I feel like with the recession and everything, the rate hikes, with all the having no money and how much they're increasing our bills, and you would think that they would have we could get some more help. We're not getting no help at all. We're just middle class, low class, working families. You know, we're not rich. So every dollar helps. Every dollar counts. So every dollar that I got to put towards my electric bill, that's money that could be going towards my kids' education.
To learn more about the energy rate hikes, we spoke with Philip Bertacci and Tu Tron, two advocates with CLS, Community Legal Services. They spoke about the struggle for affordable utilities and what programs are available to combat the rising cost of energy.
Our ideal and our mission really is to make sure that low-income Philadelphians have a reasonably continuous service, no unreasonable interruptions, because it's a basic necessity of life.
A lot of folks, when they call the utility, they're told you have to pay the whole balance, or you've run out of payment agreements, or they're not told about all their options, and we go through all the possible options. And the vast majority of people that come to CLS for help have a shut-off notice, or they've already been shut off, and the first thing we tell them to do is let the utility know if you're low income. We're still seeing folks who are losing jobs, having a hard time finding jobs. A lot of newly poor people who don't know about the low-income programs out there. So if folks aren't already enrolled in PECO's cap rate program or PGW's CRP program, or the Water Revenue Bureau's WRAP program, that's WRAP, Water Revenue Assistance Program, that's one of the first things they should do. And that could cancel the shut-off notice from each of those utilities, or even get service restored.
In most cases, certainly low-income people, this service cannot be terminated for non-payment between December 1st and April 1st. If you're over 300% of poverty, then you're not protected from shut-off in the winter. But if you're under 300% of poverty, generally speaking, you're protected.
The rate hikes expected this January are the result of the cap on electricity charges expiring. This cap was placed on charges in 1996 after the Pennsylvania state legislature passed the Energy Competition and Consumer Choice Act, which deregulated the market for energy generation. Philip Bertacci of CLS explains what he believes the effects of this deregulation will be.
The theory was that this would lead to very large opportunities for savings for residential and commercial customers. We think that the jury is clearly still out on whether they're going to be very substantial savings. For the low-income customers, there are no further discounts available to them other than what they can get through the low-income programs. Now, they're getting a larger discount through the low-income programs than they're going to get through any kind of competition regarding just the electrical, the generation supply part of their bill.
Even with the programs available to low-income Philadelphians, this year, more than previous years, people will simply not be able to afford utilities and will resort to other, often dangerous methods of keeping the lights on and their families warm.
We know that lack of utility service kills, whether it's gas or electric. Every year there are people that die because their electric service was shut off. They were using candles. They were using some kind of hookup that was dangerous. There were short circuits. There's a house fire. The same thing with gas service. People will do things like illegal connections which end up having the potential for causing house fires and not only blowing everyone up but setting a whole block on fire. That's not something that you want to have happen.
Tim McShay of Philadelphia's Firefighters Union, Local 22, echoed these concerns and commented on the effects that the rate hikes are going to have on firefighters' jobs and the lives of individual Philadelphians.
Once the rates go up and people can't afford them, they seek alternate sources. We run into a lot of what we call hot wires, where they'll have an illegal electrical hookup, which causes fires. Or if they have to go to kerosene heaters, they cause fires. If you read the final year of the end of the year report, you'll find out that these things all contribute to fire deaths and fire property damage. And the raise of the heights at this time, when everybody's kind of struggling to make ends meet, it's a recipe for fatality.
On October 4th of this year, the City of Philadelphia released a memorandum that would strip the fire service paramedics of their union representation. Bill Galt, president of Local 22, spoke about the city's motion in front of a large gathering at City Hall on October 14th.
There was no operational reason or justification for this city proposed change. Safety will not be improved. The level of service will not be increased. The well-being of our citizens will not be improved. The well-being of firefighters and paramedics will not be improved. Response times will not be improved.
All uniformed fire department personnel have been represented collectively by the International Association of Firefighters, Local 22, for the last 25 years.
That unit has included fire service paramedics who perform critical life-saving work at virtually every type of emergency responded by the fire department. For 25 years, this system has worked well for the safety of the citizens of Philadelphia and for our safety fire department personnel.
This comes in the wake of Nutter's fire station brownout policy, which firefighters and residents say is to blame for the recent death of a 12-year-old. Firefighters, paramedics, and their many supporters assert that the city's recent actions represent another cut to services for Philadelphia residents. Jay Singleton, a Philadelphia fire paramedic for 26 years, explains.
I understand the economy's bad, but he's cutting to me, it seems like he's cutting in places that are, important to even servicing the public. And when you start taking away public safety and everything, he's just letting the city up for, to be open to anything. First of all, you start separating us from a strong union, and you're going to start taking away the quality of people you're getting, the quality of help, and it's going to be, the citizens are going to start suffering for it. Mostly, it's affecting the citizens of Philadelphia, because they're the ones that are put in a dangerous situation. We're just told what to do. They cut us, but the citizens are the ones who are suffering.
We are all one. We are not individuals. We do not act as individuals. We all act as one. And to try to separate us is a travesty, and it cannot be tolerated. My name is Mary Williams Kohler, and 10 years ago I was diagnosed with hepatitis C that I contracted on the job as a fire service paramedic. While he was on city council, Councilman Nutter said he would never turn his back on a paramedic. What happened in 10 years, Mr. Nutter? Where are you for the paramedics now? Unless we stay together as one union working together, there is no way we can save the number of lives we are saving every year now.
These are our brothers and sisters. We all go to jobs together. We do everything. When you call for us, you call for everybody.
Paramedics are retaining their right to be in a union until the city and Local 22 can reach a formal agreement.
We all came out here today, to rally, to get our voices heard against this unfair immigration law, which is affecting a lot of our families and a lot of our loved ones. Basically, they're rounding up people, just not even by case, but just rounding people who has a criminal background, but and they're just deporting them back to Cambodia, which is very unfair and unjust. We all came here like escaping genocide, where most of our families was torn apart already because of the Khmer Rouge and the armies. They was killing everybody who was knowledgeable. Any teachers, any musician, artists, anybody, doctors, lawyers, anybody that was smart, intellectual, they was killing them. So, we had to escape genocide to come to America, and then we would just the majority of us just put in like the poor neighborhoods. I have four of my friends that, we grew up since we was like 8, 9 years old. I can see why they got in a little trouble, because when we was out here, growing up, we didn't really speak that good of English, so we're out fighting and people making fun of us. So I see why, we was getting in trouble, but they served their time already. They paid their debt to society. They out here. Everybody's. We're all older now, so most of all of us got kids, got families. So for now, for them to come and take us, which immigration come and get us after we'd already served time, that's very wrong.
I'm supposed to have this baby any day, and I don't want to have this baby until he's home. But I don't think that's gonna happen. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who's supporting the cause and everyone who's shown their love and support. I really appreciate it.
He's the income provider, so now without him, how about their mortgage? How about their cars? How about their family? It's not just an immigration issue, but it's more about families.
Take things for granted, you're out here and you're free, and then all of a sudden they take you in there and they lock you up. You can't talk to your family as much as you want. The visits are only 30 minutes and it's through a glass, so it's hard.
Yeah, look at these cases individually and look, who is reforming, who is doing good, and let's judge them by that instead of this law that's affecting everybody all up together. Take a look at my life, take a look at what I've been through. I'm just like you.
My name is Sibu Sikote. I am the leader of Abahlali Basamjondolo, that is the Shack Dwellers movement based in South Africa. So I come from South Africa, Durban, in the shed town of Kennedy Road. So our movement have started basically to fight, protect, promote and advance the interests of the shack dwellers and the poor in South Africa. I'm happy to be here in the United States. So far our movement has done tremendous work in housing people, but also in striving for those poor voices that are often confined in dark corners to be able to be heard louder every day. So, but also as human beings, being able to come together to share our humanity, to share our cry, our sufferings, our pains.
Recently, MMPTV joined Sabu Zakode as he toured Philadelphia and shared stories and struggles with members of the Taxi Workers Alliance and other groups and leaders from the Media Mobilizing Project Network.
In Philadelphia, I just met this taxi group, which it has really inspired me. Seeing so many people from different countries, nationalities, coming together as human beings, as simple human beings that are dedicating their life into justice. So, having shared and having learned from them, it's the power of humanity that each one of us carry, irregardless of our diversity, regardless of our color, creed, gender, borders and so on. I think it was quite impressive seeing them together, being united by the challenges that ordinary people face. Working class, particularly the poor, particularly those who work harder, are often excluded or exploited. And I think that's the challenge we all see, but also a need to unite. And it's one of the missions that I have to make sure that all the strugglers are united because they are connected. It's the same cause.
So it's been really interesting to see some of the connections between the South African situation and the situation here in Philadelphia. Because a lot of people think in South Africa, we often think that America is the land of plenty, and it's been sobering and interesting to see how people are struggling here as well, and also how people are coming together. And
Dara Kell is one of the filmmakers working on Dear Mandela, which tells the story of the South African shack dwellers movement and their fight for human rights. After touring Philadelphia, Sabu showed a trailer for the film and spoke to the Media Mobilizing Project Network.
Our movement is started from the ground. It is started in action. It begins with us from where we are. It begins with what we have. So I invite you to connect with all the organizations I have mentioned and many more to build an integrated society. A society where everyone is treated with respect and dignity. A society where no one will eat unless everybody else have eaten. What a challenge.
His vision and his commitment has inspired me to come back here and really take a look at what I'm going to be committed to.
One of the main things is just commitment. That's one of the main things that I really get from hearing him speak.
When he talks about the struggle, and each one's being committed, getting rid of the individualism and look at things as a community.
And I came here today because I really wanted to hear what Sabu had to say about movement, building, and maintaining a movement.
Me parece muy importante el movimiento que él empezó en Sudáfrica y que es está muy actual en todo el mundo. Eso que pasó en Sudáfrica pasa en muchos países.
A human being is a human being wherever they find themselves. So we should not be punished for finding ourselves wherever we find ourselves because of our socio-economic, problems that we face. So I am here also to make a call, to all these different organizations that seems to be struggling in their dark, confined corners, that it is high time that we come together. It is high time that these organizations based here in the United States form a powerful national movement, but it will not and it should not end in the national unity. We need a global alliance so that we are able to make sure that everyone counts in our society, wherever we come from, wherever we find ourselves.
Which side are you on? 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 My daddy was a miner, I'm a mining son. The Union till every battle.
And they told you to fight, but out your hands, pushed out, never gave you a chance. And they told you to fight, but out your hands.
How y'all feeling, y'all? We are the Philadelphia Student Union. If you're happy to be here today, I'm gonna need y'all to clap it up a little bit. Clap it up a little bit. We're here to talk about violence, right? But when they talk about violence in the media, they make it seem like violence is only fist fighting. Violence can only be verbal. What we talk about is violence when it becomes systemic, when it becomes institutionalized. So if you don't got no food in your refrigerator, that's violent, because if you're a human, you're supposed to eat, right? If you don't got no books in your classroom, that's violent because you're supposed to learn. That's our purpose here.
When I say youth, you say power. Youth, youth.
The Power Summit and the campaign have sprouted from just a bunch of acts that have been happening over the past few months. So around the flash mobs that happened earlier this year, around the violence that happened last year at South Philadelphia High School, we talked to students involved with those in that, and we decided that we needed to do something. We needed to have a campaign focused on nonviolence, and not just nonviolence like physical violence, but also violence in our school system in terms of not having enough textbooks or not having the right amount of teachers or the right resources in general. So that's why we developed this campaign, because we want to make it equal for everyone and make sure people have a safe environment, both emotionally, mentally, physically, and resource-wise.
Things don't happen when you're quiet. And even if you start to make a movement, you can't keep it within just you.
Each one teach one. So as we're here today, everything that we have learned, we should go back into our schools and tell everybody about it.
What if I don't get it in 3rd grade, but in 4th grade or in 5th grade or in 8th grade, I do get it. So you determining, basically you're making that prison bed for me. Like, how do you know that that's where I'm going to end up? Or how do you know I'm not going through something right now? Or how do you know that I didn't eat breakfast, so that week was bad for me? So you disrespecting my intelligence because you're making a prison bed by my test scores? That's just ridiculous.
My name is Roger Churchville. I am a 12th grader at West Philadelphia High School, and also I am a 2-year member of the Philadelphia Student Union. I have a workshop that I did, and it was called Spiral of Oppression. And what that deals with is how young people are sometimes mistreated throughout stereotypes or whatever that comes up in their everyday life. Young people today, we don't really have a voice. Usually they say adults know everything, adults are smarter than us, adults can pretty much control our lives. But I think with this summit, it's actually like we're actually making a change and making a difference, and also convincing people that, I mean, we know our rights and we need a voice to like stand up and for injustice and also for peace.
The School to Prison Pipeline workshop, which is one of the workshops that means the most to me, because it's talking about how students, it's telling you about this large system that's setting you up to go into prison, or into a low-wage job. So I felt like it's one of the biggest parts of the campaign, and I felt like that needed to end so that all of us can be on a pipeline to college and career, so that, you know, students of the future will be able to have what I didn't have. This campaign is important because don't think for yourself. Think about kids you may have someday. Think about the future and how we're not just the future but the present. The present needs to make the future better. Campaign for Nonviolent Schools is a campaign to end all forms of violence in our schools. I learned in 8th grade about this system, about all these sorts of systems that is pushing students into jail, into the prison system, into low-wage jobs. And I took it upon myself to say, I don't want to be that one, so I'm going to strive to do the best.
I think the reason why I got involved in like nonviolent issues and making sure that other people understand the root causes around violence is because in 2005 my brother was murdered, and it didn't happen in a school, but the systematic system that was in his school made him drop out, which made him get involved in things that he wasn't supposed to. And that incident has really laid the foundation to make me realize that I really don't want people to go through the same type of situation, and realizing that there are proactive ways to handle violence without the use of violence. And I think I'm really inspired by the number of students who have come out today from all different cultures, from all different schools and all different walks of life, to show that yes, they do care about what's going on in their community and their schools. So I think this is just a stepping stone for us as a community and a society to start moving forward and getting more young people involved in the process and bringing them to the table when the decisions about them are being made.
Channeling the spirits of the voices past. Through I, these voices last. Inner city disposition mixed with teenage ambition clash with the grass. Roots educational complex feeding you intellectual context, transmitting elevated concepts.
You now about to witness greatness. A lot of garbage circulating through the stations. But I done made it out the matrix. Red or blue pill, what you gonna take then?
These are the words that get passed around from our nation, said from Asians, Haitians, blacks, and Caucasians. These are the words we mold from our creation to give back to the generations as a donation. These are the words that was used on the plantation to give slaves a motivation while they escape through the night to get to their destination.
Where do we go?
They say it's innovation, we say it's segregation. It's our right to organize around our present situation. No point in waiting, wasting time in delegation. No, it's time for liberation. I have step in hesitation, revelation. Educate to liberate, not domestication. Yeah, so what's your occupation? Are you caught in that system of steady paper chasing, or perhaps are aware the issues that we're facing? You can lighten up our struggle with your link collaboration. One beat, one drum, perfect syncopation, one mind at a time to be one in celebration. Keep our ears tuned, no misinterpretation. All eyes glued to the rapid transformation. All mouths cues spreading words of inspiration. The power.